Welcome to the Seila Fire podcast, which is a talkback podcast for the novel The Seila Fire Emergence, now available on roguematter.com. We go in depth behind the scenes with Seila Fire creator James Mascia. Wave, James!
Hello.
New installments of the novel and episodes of the podcast are available the same day every month. Join the movement. Go rogue, roguematter.com. James!
Yes.
How are you?
I'm here.
You are here.
Yes.
Let's do this. Real quick before we get started, because this was a juicy chapter. This was almost 98 pages of a chapter and a lot happened. So we have a lot to cover. But I always wanted to ask, so you wrote a comic book series on Edgar Allan Poe, correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Have you ever heard of the musical Snoopy?
The Charlie Brown?
Yeah, the Charlie Brown dog.
Yes, I have then, yes.
Okay. But there's two musicals. One is called You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, which is that one's and Snoopy the Musical. Did you know that there is an Edgar Allan Poe song in Snoopy the Musical?
Yes. She's going to ask us something about Edgar Allan Poe. I know it. I just know at any moment now. She's going to call on me and ask me something I don't know on Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh,
yes,
Edgar
I know.
Allan, American poet.
Yes. And everything that Charlie Brown says is completely wrong.
Yes.
Yes, I know the song, yes.
Oh my God, that just warms my heart because I didn't know if you were going to know it or not because Snoopy's such an obscure musical that not a lot of people know. When did you first hear that song?
They had the cartoon, back in the 80s.
Yeah.
They did it as a cartoon.
That's awesome.
I watched it.
And Charlie Brown, yes, and then Peppermint Patty can't spell Mississippi.
Yep.
I did that musical and I was Peppermint Patty. And then I did You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, and I was Lucy. So I went from being a tomboy to a girl that bullies boys.
Yes.
So, and the rest is history. But no, I just was curious if you knew that because the second I saw that, I was like, he's going to call on me and ask me something I don't know. On Edgar Allan Poe. And Linus knows everything, which I always thought was interesting that Linus was always in the same class as them when he's the younger brother.
Yeah. Well, so is Sally. She's supposed to be the younger one, too.
Yeah, so technically they are supposed to be in their own class, and Charlie Brown and Lucy and Schroeder are all supposed to be in the same class, but for some reason they're all in the same class, which either means that Sally and Linus are smart or all the other kids were held back.
Or somebody did some horrible editing.
That's true. Regardless, or it was just like, I just let's make my life easier and put them all in the same class.
And
then the rest is history. But anyways, we're not here to talk about Snoopy. I just wanted to have that moment with you, and I'm glad we shared this moment because we have.
Actually, if you want to go into it, technically, Peppermint Patty doesn't even go to the same school.
Oh, right.
Her and Marcy go to a different school.
That's right. They go to a different school. Such an odd musical. No, but they also show up in some cartoons in the same class.
Yeah, they do. Of course they do. But they're not supposed to.
But they're not supposed to. Oh well. We can't all be factually correct, but it's still lovely. I love the Peanuts. It's fantastic. Snoopy is my favorite. But speaking of favorites, I do love this chapter because we get a lot in this chapter. So there's a lot we have to start breaking down. So it kind of opens, if I recall, Diana is still trying to get out of her captor.
Get away, yes.
Get away. She was locked into her room and she's been kept there for what, a couple of days?
It's been a little bit.
That's so creepy. Yeah. Can you imagine coming from the future and you just get captured and then you try to escape and this old man still drags you back to the lighthouse? Oh God.
Well, he's like a Scooby-Doo villain. Come on.
Yeah.
The old lighthouse keeper.
The old lighthouse keeper that is not really all the way up there, upstairs. And then she escapes she makes a lot of noises and then she like breaks a chair at one point and he comes in and he pretends like she's like 5 and he's like, why did you do that? I'm gonna have to So creepy. It's creepy, James. It's
It's
creepy.
supposed to be creepy. That's
I
the whole
know.
point.
I know. It's so creepy. But she manages to club him, and then what's really nice about her character is that for a second she's really afraid that she actually killed him.
Yeah. She's not a bad person. I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
She's like, "Oh no, I didn't want to kill him." And then he starts to wake up, and then she's like, "Okay, no, he's fine." And then she just zips out, locks the door, and then finds a way to, get his boat to work to just drive into town.
Yeah.
And then in the meanwhile, you have Sheriff Howard has kicked out Jackson's crew because they have severely beaten up Catrina to a point
Yes.
where she's got broken legs. She's got a damaged arm from the firing shot from the Sheriff Howard. And then she's been left to Jackson's men are like two of them are left to keep watch of her because she didn't tell them anything. And, Sheriff Howard is like, "Get out of my police station, you mean person."
Yeah. That's not the last we're going to see of him, though.
No, it's you would think, but nope, it's wrong.
And they do beat her up pretty badly. They don't quite break her, bones as badly as you might think. Later on, you'll see that.
Yeah. I thought her legs broke though. Like I thought
they're pretty badly damaged. She can't walk very well on them, but
okay. Yeah, and then we get another Russian spy, Sergei, to come in, and he's basically been hired to be like, "Okay, Katrina's failed her mission because this is Russia. If somebody's failed their mission, they need to be taken out." So
before she gives up any information.
Yeah, I guess. I guess she has to go because she's been captured. How dare she get captured? I know. How could she? This 20-something-year-old. What is her age again?
Yeah, it's about right.
20-something. Okay, great.
Yeah.
20-something. This is very Black Widow of you right now, where she's like, she's a spy and she's 20-something and she's, she's no use anymore to the motherland. So a fellow Conrad has been tasked to kind of take her out. But luckily for her, Evans has also been told, "Hey, I don't want Jackson's men or department, handling this situation. We need you to handle this situation." So he was going to kind of come in and bust her out, but then saw that Sergei came in first, and he was like, "Oh, convenient. Let me see how I can use this to my advantage."
And he does.
And he does. Well, what's funny is that you had a line where you reveal him by saying, "Man, you guys talk a lot before you kill the Why? What's the point of that?"
Well, I always, because I find that funny when we watch like a movie or something like that, and that's what the bad guy does. It's like, just if you just did it, this would be over.
Yeah.
So I always like to point out when things like that, silly things like that, I should say.
Yeah, it's almost like he's playing with his food before he eats it, and it's just like, I don't understand, man. If you had just come in and just shot her, she'd be dead.
Yeah.
But thanks to your stupidity to want a monologue, it's now Robert that comes in, knocks him out, handcuffs him, and then I like that you also say to that you have Robert say to Catrina, "All right, you got two choices. You're either coming with me, or I put him in your cell and you're going to be dead in the morning. What do you want to do?"
It's really not much of a choice, but
it's not much of a choice. It's like, do you want to live or do you want to die?
Yep.
Kind of thing. So you can come with me. So he kind of takes her out, but then the whole department discovers that even Sergei gets out the next day. So
again, we were talking about that last episode, the screw in the lock.
Yep, the screw in the lock.
That's it.
That's all you needed. He can get out of handcuffs. It's not a problem.
Easy enough to do.
And I like that you also have like a scene where Sheriff Howard is at his home, and you can tell that, like, which would be realistic, that because all of this stuff is happening, his home life is getting disturbed,
Yes.
basically.
Hmm.
And you see his wife, and it was such a great moment where you were saying you were having Howard at the table with his daughter, and he's like, I need you to eat your pancakes, and the wife smartly says, well, monkey see, monkey do, you're not eating because you're not here.
Yeah,
She's just trying to mirror you, which goes back to how impressionable children can be, especially when their dads are not present, and when they are there, it's like you want to mirror them to get attention.
that is that is absolutely right.
So that was a nice moment, and you can tell that he's feeling the strain of it too, because he really badly doesn't want to get called in, but of course,
But he has to.
but yeah, he's the sheriff, like
It's like,
this.
what do you want me to do? And
Again, it's like, I thought we moved to a small town so we wouldn't have to deal with this. Well, you thought wrong.
well, she's
You
also probably used to him being there most of the time as well. And for the past couple of months at this point,
Yeah,
it's been,
nonstop.
almost nonstop. Yeah.
Nonstop chaos. So then we get to around the time when he gets called in, and he finds out that Jackson's men have been taken out, that she's gone, and he notices that somebody must have helped her, because there's no way. There's no way in the state that she was in she could have done it. He gets a call from the lightkeeper that his boat has been stolen. He sees it, and then now we have two other worlds collide, where Diana comes across Howard,
Yes.
and she's taken to the station.
For more
Um,
questioning and more interrogation.
for more interrogation and questioning, this chapter should just be interrogation and questions, the different methods
Hmm.
on how to properly do it, because you get a lot of interrogation in this chapter. You get Howard that attempts it and sucks at it, and he's like, well, I got to find the other two. The other two are busy because Evans has lost his paperwork, and he's trying to figure, and that's a little bit of a mystery till the end of the chapter,
Yes.
on where did his paperwork go, where did the photos of the portals that he took from last chapter go, and where did the proof that all the women were pregnant go. So now he has nothing to show to his superiors back in Washington, until he gets the call from the sheriff's department that's like, hey, you need to come here, because guess what? We have something even better than photos and recordings of sounds. We have an actual human that survived, which was very exciting for him.
Yes.
Now
But it's
here's
not
the
an alien.
it's not an alien, so he's a little crestful. I love poor Evans when he was like, did they do this to you? Did they put an alien baby in your tummy? Like, what is that? Is that Aliens? The actual movie Aliens?
Yeah, close enough.
That's like what he's. I mean, this is the 50s, so obviously
Yeah.
aliens didn't exist, but like that whole, like, he was probably thinking that, and she just laughs at him. Oh, that was such a good moment, James.
Thank you.
But I wanted to ask. She says she's not willing to talk, but she sits there and says, "You fool! They're here. They've been here for thousands of years." What? What is she? Does she mean actual? Are you meaning like ancient aliens?
Yes, ancient aliens, of course. They've been here forever. Come on. You've never watched the History Channel?
I haven't watched that. No.
Oh, come on.
Are
You gotta watch Giorgio with the hair.
I mean, I know the theory that aliens built the pyramids.
Yeah, well, there's a lot more. They also built Washington D.C. and are the gods of every culture, and helped the Chinese get to the moon. Apparently, a thousand other things.
See, I think the Masons just built Washington.
No, no, it was aliens.
Okay.
No,
All right.
I told you, watch the History Channel.
All right. So are you saying that her response is inspired by the History Channel ancient aliens?
No, her response is because she knows.
She knows that. Okay. So here's what I'm confused about, because eventually, if we jump ahead a little bit to he gets a call from his superior saying that more soldiers have been asked. Well, more people from Washington are now going to come to this town because they really think that Russia is involved with this, even though Evans is like, this has nothing. He doesn't. I don't think he ever thinks Russia had anything to do with this.
No, he does not.
No. He gets that call. He kind of, another interrogation tactic that he uses is, look, more of these guys are going to come and they're going to do to you what they did to somebody else, and it's not pretty. And basically he uses that scare tactic to entice her to start saying something because she's worried about her unborn child. So while she says, I can't tell you anything, I feel like she still ends up telling him everything.
Yeah,
Correct?
she tells him a lot. Yes, she does.
So I guess I'm confused. Like, maybe I'm missing something. What is she withholding that she doesn't want to tell him?
Well, you gotta wait until the next part. Come on.
Dang it. God dang it.
She tells him, what he needs to know. It's more of, a cross between, me wanting to keep that suspense going.
Sure.
And two, she doesn't want to pollute the timeline.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I feel like the debate that I think you also put this in the chapter too. The debate she also has is, what if I can stop what's coming?
Right.
At some point. And I feel like that would be a very enticing thing to think about, is that,
Right.
well, if I've been sent to the past, can I change the future?
Right. Can she do it? Or is it pointless? Or can she destroy everything by making the attempt? It's all of this, like, back and forth, like, what should I do? I'm not where I'm supposed to be. How can I make it? Should I stay out of the way, or should I makes it good, make things better for?
Yeah, because in a sense, she's been sent back far enough to where she could live out her life and the war that is to come would not affect her.
No, it would not.
So, in a sense, that also could be an enticing thing of, well, maybe I just live out my life in this timeline, have enough, because she talks about she didn't have enough food, there was no entertainment, which made me go, oh, no entertainment. Nothing. I was like, oh man, the future sucks.
Yeah.
Worse than Planet of the Apes. So yeah, she does have that opportunity that she could just live out her life and it'd probably be fine. So the debate of whether or not to help is intriguing, but also I think she's very lucky that she told Evans this and not somebody else, because I feel like if she had told any other character in this story, every single one of them would be like, did you hit your head? Did you?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she's just not right up here. I'm so sorry. We'll get you help. And like, I don't think anybody would have believed her.
Well, you have to also think about what's been happening, and they're looking for the explanation for it, and she has at least some of the explanation for it. So
yeah,
they might be more willing than you'd think.
Well, true, but I think it was fortuitous of her to tell Evans, because Evans is somebody that just starts believing her immediately.
He's all about aliens.
I know. He's so upset it's not aliens. Poor Evans.
Mm-hmm.
He really wanted ET, and I said that already, but it doesn't matter. That's how badly he wanted it to happen. Okay, so then what we get off to the side is two other timelines, which is we have Betty and Mike are blossoming a relationship, if you will, and she's starting to feel guilty for lying to him, but she is also, it is revealed, the one that took the photos and the report that all the females are pregnant.
Yes.
So she finally has her story. So she's finally now Lois Lane. She's thinking Pulitzer Prize is coming my way.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to let the story out into the open if the editor accepts it, which we don't know if the editor is going to accept the story yet or not.
Nope, we do not. And she goes through several drafts of trying to write this thing and trying to write this thing, and she ends up throwing them away because it just doesn't, it sounds too fantastical, or it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't make sense in general. So
Yeah.
it's like, what is this nonsense?
Hmm.
So she's starting to feel guilty for lying to him. And then we also have, hey, Robert and Catrina are getting really close. So Robert ends up taking Catrina to a safe house where a deceased villager that Catrina killed last chapter to protect Mike when Betty was trying to protect lived. And he kind of takes the good cop approach on kind of, saying, hey, your side wants you dead, my side wants you dead. I'm your best friend. So how about you help me out a little bit here? And it seems to go off really well. She like takes a liking to him. He must be good looking.
Oh, of course he's good looking.
He
Come on.
must be good looking.
He's a spy. Of course, they're all good looking. You didn't
They're
know
all
that?
good looking. Oh, I didn't. I'm sorry. I thought
Yeah.
that was only British spies.
No, 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 no. Our spies too. They're all good looking.
Okay. All of them are good looking. Russia spies are good looking too.
Hmm.
Um and so she does try one tactic where she thinks, I'm going to make him believe that I want to have sex with him in the shower, which is hot, by the way. And I felt it coming. I felt it pun intended.
Yes.
Um I felt it coming when she was like, at any moment, I'm going to like just knock him out and escape, even though she's got bad legs. And she decides that she wants him so badly that she doesn't want to, but then he uh, handcuffs her to the pipes. And he's like, I'm not stupid, you bitch.
Pretty much. Yes.
It was great. It was a great moment. I was like, good for you. You knew what was coming, because obviously that was really fast. It's like you guys talked one time. You got some information out that both of you don't know what's going on. There is no super weapon here. You've been sent here for no good reason. And he sees what game she's playing and he beats her at her own game. And then of course he probably has some blue balls out of it, but who knows?
Oh,
They might become a thing.
we have to keep
I
reading.
know, we have to keep reading. I know.
But
And then
yeah, no, I mean, she's using a tactic that, I mean, that's what she does. I mean, if you read back through
yep.
the early, that's how she does her thing.
Yep.
Essentially she seduces and kills.
Yeah. She seduces and she kills, but this is the one time she did not kill. She seduced, she did not kill,
Hmm.
which is really good. But the way we end up on this chapter is that, like, because more government agents are coming into the town, um, Evans takes Diana to that safe house where Catrina and Robert is, because Howard found them there and was like, yeah, just keep her here. That stupid douchebag. Um, Jackson is back and he's trying to take over the whole operation, which is also kind of like ET a little bit, when the government just comes in and tries to take over. When it's like, I had this under control, kind of, not really. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea what's going
Not
on.
always the case, though.
It is always the case. And then there's like this, Avengers kind of meeting where they're all assembled and it's like, okay, good news. We kind of know what's happening now. Bad news. We don't know how to stop it. But if I can fly a plane. This is Evans talking. I can fly a plane. I can just fly right through that portal, not knowing if that's going to work or if it'll shut off the second it goes through. Like, because it's only open for a microsecond,
Yeah,
right?
it's only open for like a second, and he has to time it perfectly to get the plane
Yeah. And I love
up
that.
and in.
I love that Robert is also like, dude, if there's no secret weapon here, I'm done. Like, I'm not doing alien future shit. I'm not.
Yeah, I did what I was hired to do. I'm going home.
Yeah. I'm going home. And so now so at the end of the chapter, we also kind of have like a ticking time clock. You know that the portal is going to open again in 2 days. But another thing that's happened of why government agents are coming in is because these cannon fires are now happening in other parts of the globe.
Yes. Yeah. Kind of
Which,
raising the stakes. Now the secret's out.
yes,
So
secret's out. Something's happening. Was that inspired? Did the cannon fire ever happen anywhere else besides here? Because I know this was based on a real phenomenon.
Yeah, no, the cannon fire is not just local to this place. It's just one of the places where it is typical to hear it. Like I said, they're called Seneca guns
Okay.
because they were first heard near Lake Seneca, which I keep forgetting where Lake Seneca is.
Okay.
But it's not anywhere near Southport,
Okay.
where the story takes place. But it happens in various places around the world.
That's so fascinating. I want to YouTube this now
Yeah.
and see if anybody's caught it.
Seneca guns. They're real.
They're real. I don't know if it's aliens or not, but they're real.
Lake Seneca's in New York.
Of course it's in New York.
Mm-hmm.
But that's fascinating. So that's kind of where we're left, is that more troops are coming in. The team of 4, they're at the safe house, and Catrina's kind of on the fence of what she needs to do because, there's now 2 Russian agents. Sergei has returned with Anton.
Yes.
Ha-ha!
His kind of sidekick.
Yeah, the 2 Russia sidekicks are hunting her down because they still think there's a secret weapon. She's on the fence of what to do. Robert is like, I don't know, man. Can I just go home? This is not my jurisdiction. And Betty's going to help Sheriff Howard out with something to get, I guess, to spread the word or something.
Yes. She's going to write her story, and he's going to help her get it out.
Yes. And then we'll just have to see what happens with Diana, who I'm sure is just like, man, why did I have to be sent back to the 50s? Couldn't you have at least sent me back when there was internet?
Well, she didn't have internet where she was from either, so she might not even know what
true.
it is.
That's true. She might not even know. So the 50s is great for her.
Maybe.
I don't know. But we'll just have to see. Now, where are we at with the story right now? Would you say we're 3/4 of the way through?
We're getting close to the end. We're getting to the where we find out everything, especially.
Well, I mean, we learned a lot in this chapter, though.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Well, that means that we have to wait for the next chapter. Ugh.
Yes.
I don't
Dun,
like
dun,
waiting.
dun.
See, I feel like streaming has made us lazy, that we have to just we want to just read it all the way through, stream it all the way through, like Stranger Things, where you just binge it. We just want to binge at this point. Your novel's that good, I just want to binge it.
Well, I'm sorry. I could send you the file.
No, don't say that. We got to edit that out. Aaron,
Okay.
we're editing that out. Don't say that. You want to keep the suspense going. So yeah. So I guess we're just going to have to wait for the next chapter to be released in order to find out even more about what Diana is withholding.
Yes, of course.
All right. Well, James, I'll let you leave now, but before you go, you got to tell the folks how to find you on the interwebs and social channels.
I am Dren Productions on drenproductions.com. Same thing, Dren Productions on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Excellent. Well, it's always a pleasure talking to you. I really do enjoy the story. I can't wait to find out what happens next. But until then, guys, this is Bevan, and this has been the Seila Fire Emergence Podcast, Episode 3, a talkback podcast for the Seila Fire Emergence. New installments of the novel and episodes of the podcast are available monthly. Check out roguematter.com or download the Rogue Matter app, because we're hip and we have an app on iOS and Android to read the Seila Fire Emergence. Chapter 4 will be available August 10th. Seila Fire Podcast Episode 4 will also be available on the same day. We hope to see you guys then.